Before we jump into today's show, I just wanted to let you know that I have got a brand new 3-part audio series available to download right now. If you head over to donnaeade.com/3-part audio, that's all one word, no spaces, you can download your How to Build Your Authority with Podcasting audio series. This is going to address guesting and hosting. So if you're interested in either of those and you want to know how to build your authority, head over to donnaeade.com/3-part audio. The link will be in the show notes. You're listening to the Mindset and Action Podcast, the place to be to grow and streamline your business. I'm your host, Donna Eade. Let's jump into the show. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody, for this mini Mindset Monday. I have a guest in the house, which means that on Thursday, we're going to be doing a full episode and it's all around the topic of branding. So make sure that you tune in for that one. Janine, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. And today we're going to be talking about the biggest mindset block that you have hit in your business and how you overcame it. But before we get into that, tell my listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name's Janine Coney and I'm a personal brand strategist, marketing and business coach. And I empower female founders and CEOs to get visible and become unforgettable and build their personal brands and their businesses for their success. I like to say that I take people from feeling unseen to unstoppable, Donna.
I love that. I do love that. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now the big question, the one question that we have for you today. What is the biggest mindset block that has got you stuck in your business?
Comparisonitis, baby. Yeah. Comparing myself to other people.
Yes. Is that something that came at the beginning of your business? Like, was it there straight from the start, or was it something that kind of crept in over time?
No, I think something like this stems back further than that. I mean, I know we're not going to go too deep into that side of things today, but I think if you are somebody who has maybe gone through your life comparing yourself to other people or have suffered with so low self-esteem or low self-confidence, it can be something that when you decide to start your business, that you suddenly find is popping up more and more. And one of my best friends said to me at the time, you're going to be amazing, Janine, but you're going to need to find resilience. And at the time I was, what do you mean I'm a resilient person? But I think when I look at the comparisonitis side of things, and I'm separating that from imposter syndrome, because I think comparing yourself is slightly different. I think she's absolutely right. You have to find that resilience to understand that you are you and you need to keep coming back and being you and being you. And I often use the terminology of keep your own blinkers on and stay in your own lane. Yes. And not worry what other people are doing around you. And however many times I've said that to myself, I will still have times now where I will do it. And I know for sure that everybody else does too.
It's true. It's true. So obviously then it is something that still rears its ugly head sometimes. Yeah. So what are some of the things that you do when you find yourself in that situation where you're just like, you know, you've fallen down a scroll hole on Instagram and all of a sudden your feed is full of other business strategists and branding specialists and you're looking at what they're doing. How do you kind of stop yourself in your tracks and pull yourself out of it?
Okay. First of all, the obvious is don't look. I would say there's a time to look, but absorbing what everybody else is doing all the time is just going to take you away from what you're doing. And you're just going to get so caught up of comparing yourself to other people. If you're doing that, how are you moving your own business forward? You're going to get your mind in such a muddle by doing that. So don't do it. You know, I think there comes a time you have to do your market research.
Yeah.
And I, another podcast, obviously, that we've recorded together, we've talked about this, about, you know, having to look around you and build a business. And you are going to have other people who do what you do, and you need to do your market research. That's going to happen. And if you worked in another business, they would ask you, have you done market research? Have you done competitor analysis? But absorbing that every single day is just not going to serve you. And your own business and how you run it and what you do has to come from within you. You have to absolutely adore it and love it. So therefore, if you're just building it based on what other people are doing or comparing yourself to what other people are doing, then you're not putting your body, spirit, love, attention into it. And you're then creating something that you're not going to love, and you're not going to be behind, and you're not going to feel confident about. So you can kind of end up in a bit of a perpetual circle. And I see this quite a lot when I work with clients at the beginning stages of wherever they are in their businesses.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because as you know, guys, I record these back to front. So we've already recorded our Thursday episode. So I knew what to talk about and tell you that to come back and listen to. But we were actually talking about this in that episode where we were talking about your brand and being authentic to you and not looking at other people and mirroring. So it really is something that is core to how you help your clients, because it's something that you've gone through, and you can tell that by the fact that it has literally come up in both episodes that we talked about. It came up in our episode that we did on your podcast as well. So it's funny how that works, that whatever our biggest block is usually something that we help other people to recognize so they can move past it.
And the thing is, people forget their brilliance. They forget where they've come from. They forget that everything that they've done has led to where they are. So they'll forget that all of the experience that they've gained in their career, even if they've moved into something new now, actually is all transferable skills into what they're doing now. So they come in and they think, well, I'm brand new. I do want to just say, though, that obviously I'm not one of these people who can just say you can't just become something. You can't just decide one day you're going to be an expert in something. Because I think then you are probably going to get some doubt creep in. Or maybe you won't. Maybe you could just blag that. But I don't think many people can. So I don't think you can just profess to be an expert in something. But most people who I work with, and me included, with everything that I've done in my career to date, but still I will look around me at times and compare myself. And when I fall down that hole, but now I know what to do to bring myself out of it. So those things, as you asked me, are I won't look. I will, I won't actively search for anything like that. I will take myself away from the situation. For instance, in the morning scroll, people generally will pick up their phones as soon as they wake up. Most people are guilty of this. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it, because you will take yourself down a hole that you might not come out of for an hour. And, it might be, like you said, the doom scroll, and you just put yourself in a bad mood for the rest of the day because you're comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
And also it's challenging those limiting beliefs as well. Why are you feeling that way? Because usually when you dig deep on that, what evidence do you have really to feel the way that you do? And when you start looking at the lack of evidence that you have, and then start looking at all the achievements that you have had in what you're brilliant at and how you've helped your clients and what you do, and the qualifications that you have, because some people just constantly want more qualifications and are constantly, looking for more.
I love a good qualification. I've got so many certificates.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I think self-development is great, but sometimes people are like, that's not enough. I need to get
it's
something else.
Me, it's that thing. Like, I don't feel like I'm good enough. Like, I was a photographer for 10 years, photographing weddings. I started in 2009 and I got my diploma, I think, in 2000 and I want to say 11 in photography, because I didn't feel like I was enough with just my portfolio. I needed that certificate. Do you know what? Nobody ever asked me to see my certificate. Nobody ever, questioned whether I was qualified to be a photographer, but I needed to have that certificate.
It's so funny. I mean, if you look at that from that point of view as well, very rarely is anybody ever, well, I think anybody said to me, can you show me your certificates for this, that, the other? I mean, you need to have the authority and the credibility. And I'm not, as I said, we're not professing here that people should just say that you're an expert in something, because that kind of grinds my gears, really. But, don't overlook what's brought you to where you are today. And it's so easy to do it. So self-care, self-love, self-appreciation, self-gratitude, all of those things are big game changers. And that's why it's one of the first things that I work on with people, whatever stage they're at.
One thing I wonder, if you have had this and what you did in that situation was, we've been talking here about online, and I think since 2020 everything seems to be online, and we just think of everything as being we're just in an online world these days, but we're not. We do actually meet people in real life and stuff now. So what has it ever happened to you where you have been in like a networking situation where there's been somebody else? And I know a lot of networking companies don't allow competitors in. You're only allowed one for every, but not all of them are like that. And there are events that we go to. Has it been a situation where you have met a competitor in that kind of environment and it's just been something that you've just like needed to get out of and get away from? And how have you dealt with that?
In the early days, yeah, it did happen. And I used to feel really uncomfortable. Now I bloody love it. It doesn't worry me one bit. I'll go up and have a conversation with somebody, because you're not really in competition with each other, are you? You know, I always liken it to, I live in Milton Keynes, and at our railway station, there's a Costa Coffee, a Starbucks, there's a Pret, there's a Marks and Spencer's that sells coffee. They're all busy. You know, there is enough for everybody to go round. Yes. What I don't like though is if somebody is trying to claim to be the sort of the space holder as such. There's space for everybody.
Yeah.
Just be a nice person, I suppose, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
And I think discounting somebody, and that has happened before, where I've kind of been discounted because that person might think they're in a different realm to somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of behaviour, but it doesn't worry me if I'm now in the room with somebody else who does what I do at all.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, thank you for that. That's one I don't know that we've had anybody come on and talk about comparisonitis. So and that's a new one for the podcast. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing your tips on how people can deal with it if it's something that they deal with. Guys, we are going to be back on Thursday. So please make sure that you come back and listen to our episode all about branding. Janine's got a fantastic gift for you at the end there. Really nice, low cost way to work with her and gain some visibility for your business. So make sure that you come back, listen to Thursday's episode. Janine, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at janine.coney. You'll find me on LinkedIn at Janine Coney, and my website is also Janine Coney. So yeah, you can't get away from my name there. So that's where you'll find me.
Brilliant. And if you want a sneak peek before Thursday's episode, go over to our website and you'll be able to find all of those details over there. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.